Jack, Canvas Nomad here, back at another one. Um, I'm kind of upset because I recorded this last night. So got the if you got the video last night and you realize there's no sound, well, that's why. That's why I'm doing this one. For some reason, there's no sound, and I think I know the reason why. I was cast into the TV, so I guess it was still casting as I was broadcasting to doing a YouTube live. So it didn't take any of the sound, which ultimately sucks because now I got to do it again, and the raw emotion of what I wanted to portray just wasn't there. It's just not gonna be there now because it's in the moment. But I'll start over. As you can see, I am on the boat, people. Uh, I am on the boat, and it's a good feeling being here. One thing I could tell you, like if there's anybody trying to do this or have any curiosity towards it, when you're packing to come on one of these things, you literally just need to bring some clothes, and that's it. That's it. Bring some clothes and yourself, because they have everything else, even to a certain extent, the clothes they'll have for you. They'll have the soaps, the laundry detergents, the sheets, the blankets. They'll have everything. Hand sanitizer, you name it, they got it all. You don't got to bring any of that. Yeah. Like, I'm now thinking, like, what could you actually bring? And really, everything I brought, okay, maybe a brush, your toothbrush, stuff like that. But even those, they have, So, they just supply you with everything. It's kind of pretty dope. And then, you're when you get to one of these ships, I'm trying to remember the last video I did. When you get to one of these ships, you're going to have to do all the bureaucracy work, right? Bureaucratic work. You're gonna have to do the paperwork. You'll get a tour of the ship. You got to meet the higher ups and stuff like that. I can't tell you where my ship is. I think I'd prefer not to, but I can't. But you guys know I did fly into the UK, so I'm somewhere in Europe. And yeah, as far as that goes, it is a traveling ship. I'm not docked, so I'll be circling around. But I'm glad to have been in this ship, and it's crazy because I'm looking back at it. I don't know if it wasn't for me spinning a globe, close my eyes, spinning a globe, landing on El Salvador. Things really do happen for a reason, I'm telling you. They really do, because if that didn't happen and I didn't take a random chance, I wouldn't have met a guy named Kyle. This guy, he was a medic on commercial ships, and he just happened to be in the middle of contracts, because his girl at the time, she wasn't feeling well, and they took a little detour to El Salvador at the same time I was there. And he would tell me all about his adventures on these ships, being a medic, and sometimes it would frighten him. And I was just like, those are some crazy stories, you know what I mean? But I never envisioned myself in his shoes. But that had to have been the point of Inception. I was there for about 3 months, so I saw him periodically. We hung out a couple of times, and he would always bring it back up. But he was more, he towards, like, in his current day, he was more working private ship, but he was on commercial vessels before. And, yeah, I have to, like, I have El Salvador to thank for so much things. It's ridiculous. That country showed me so much. But this here wouldn't be because of that. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that country, because that's why I'm at Kyle, And again, the reason why I say it's an Inception idea is because I didn't see myself doing it at that time. I didn't care. Um, then I remember being in Thailand, and I met this merchant marine at the Golden Tiger Bar. You know what I mean? And we were playing spades, and he was just sharing some of his stories. I don't remember his name, but I remember some of the stories he was telling me, and it was kind of interesting. Only because I remember the spades game that was going on. Uh, then you had Cafe Cubana in P. Virgo Street in the Philippines. That guy, some of the stories that guy would tell me. I don't remember his name either. It's crazy. I don't remember another guy. I remember Kyle because we hung out more than just that one time. But these guys, you run into them in a bar and you just you just do what bars happen to do. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I think they had live karaoke. I got food. He ended up sitting down with some girl. He was like, "Oh, what's your name?" Bought shots. Next thing you know, he's up there with karaoke. It was a good night. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, he told me so many crazy stories about him being on a ship and that he had retired and now he was living in the Philippines, and it was just crazy to like really think about. And even in when I was in Vietnam, I met a marine merchant on Bear Street in Old Quarters in Hanoi in Vietnam, right? He was with an Australian. He's from Australia. He was with a black girlfriend from the UK. How that works, you don't say, but that was the case, and he would just tell me some of the craziest stories. I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you, some of those stories I don't ever want to experience, but I ain't gonna lie, there's a part of me that wishes I could tell those stories. But I don't know if I want to go through those stories. But if it wasn't for meeting these guys, like I just felt like God was just kind of putting these signals in front of my face. And I remember that night that I met the guy from Australia. I met another dude, and he was like a principal of like one of the top schools in the district area, and he was telling me get my TEFL. So I was gonna teach English. I just wanted to be out of the States, and I came back, and that's what I was gonna do. But it wasn't like the thing that I desired to do. And then I'll never forget, there was one night I'm watching YouTube, and I'm pretty sure I was watching BMT Travels, and he was interviewing this guy who was talking about his portfolio of Airbnbs. And I distinctly remember him saying, "If you don't mind me asking, what is it that you do for work?" The guy lived in Kenya, and a lot of his Airbnbs were from Kenya. I believe he was from Kenya. And he told us, "Oh, I'm a merchant marine." Instantly, I knew, okay, I've been hearing that name, that position, way too many times. I think within an hour, I applied online. I think within 2 days, they called me to take a test. Right after I took the test, the guy congratulated me, said, you passed both tests, and we'll be sending you an offer, a congratulations offer to see if you get accepted or not. And 3 months later, I got the congratulations offer to join Piney Point. And I didn't see it till 5 months later. And then I waited for 11 months. And I was in a long 11 months. Basically, I waited a year and a half for this. But if it wasn't for El Salvador, if it wasn't for Kyle, I wouldn't have those 11 months to wait to go to do 4 months of just organized indentured servitude. Oh man, it's some good memories. But all of it led to right here. And it's funny too, when I was working, during that time, during that wait, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna apply to like a regular job just to get some income. But there's no obligation once you leave the grounds. You don't have to think about it. Usually, like with a lot of my old jobs, I'd have to take the work home. This, once you leave, that's it. Until you clock back in the next morning, you don't have to worry about anything. And I just remember that situation, working at that job. It's my never again moment, 100%. Like, just the people there. In jobs like that, you're gonna have bad apples anywhere you work. But like in that job specifically, you're gonna have mostly people. There's people that's going to be there 20, 30, 40 years. I knew two people there that was, one was there for 34 years, the other one was there for 5. Like that's all they know. You know what I mean? They're not exposed to anything else other than what they see on social media, what they hear in their immediate circles, what they know on the people they meet on through the job, and that's it. They only know as far as for what FedEx can bring them. But there's a certain kind of like, projection that's projected when they're met with people that they don't normally run into, I guess you could say. So I'm here, saying, hey, I've done this, I've done that, and immediately I'm met with backlash. It's like a crabs in a barrel mentality to a certain degree. And because of the environment that was created, people didn't start not to believe that I did the things they did. Or I remember something specifically. There was one guy, he went somewhere on vacation. And the guy was like, oh man, now you're making me want to go. And when I had went on vacation, it was, oh, I can watch that on Instagram. You understand what I mean? Like there's definitely a very, they gave me a very, and maybe, they thought I was pompous. Maybe they thought I was arrogant. I actually created a video that said, maybe I just found out I was arrogant. No, it's not that anybody's arrogant. You're in front of the wrong audience. You know what I mean? When you're talking to people and people start to assume certain things about you and then treat you differently, first of all, it's always going to be your own, right? And then secondly, there's projection involved, right? But none of that mattered. You know what I mean? While I was there, I knew what I wanted to do, and it was this. And lo and behold, I just stuck through the crucible. I appreciate them, I'll tell you that, because I needed to go through that moment in life, because now I know anything happened here, all I have to do is think about that place. And I don't ever want to work there again. You know what I mean? Not to mention it's killing two birds with one stone, because the literal place I'm in geographically, I'd rather be here than over there geographically. You know what I mean? So now I'm killing two birds with one stone, which is the reason I got into this in the first place. And then the time off that you get allows me to do it at my leisure. So yeah, the pros and the cons outweigh the cons. It is early in the morning, and I will have my first day today. Technically, I'm thinking it probably should have been done yesterday, but I'm not sure if, that's another situation. But today will definitely be my first day, and we'll see how it goes. But I just wanted to reflect on this, because it's been a long time to get to this point, and I recorded the entire thing. You can see the time I was complaining before I knew. You saw me, overseas towards the end of my Asia trip, and then you saw me pretty much almost every day going to FedEx. So you saw my mindset, how I was feeling. And now I'm here. This is why I'm recording this. It isn't like, if people watch, great. If people don't watch, it doesn't matter. Like, I just want to record it for me and see the progression of like what I've gone through. You know what I mean? And if at the very least my family could see it, and if God spares life, my kids can see it. So, you know, if I'm shouting into the ethos or yelling into the void right now, that's okay, because I'll watch it later on, and if you're watching it later on with me, I can appreciate you. So on that note, this is Chris Jack, Canvas Nomad here, and this has been another Captain's Log. And if you made it this far in the video, you, my friend, are certainly appreciated.